Hello, everyone. It is Todd Scrima, and welcome to the reading version of me reading my new book called Dare to Sell: How to Make Another $25,000 per Month. And this book is written mainly for loan officers in the mortgage business, but I actually think that any salesperson in any arena could get a lot out of this book. So let me start with the prologue, and then I've got some cliff notes. So this is going to be a short section before I get into chapter 1. Prologue. Why? When I was a young salesperson in 1994 selling mortgage loans, I hit a brick wall. I had been a loan officer for about a year, and interest rates suddenly shot up from 6.25% to 8.75% in 2 months. The market was dead, and so was my bank account. I had a choice. I had to learn to sell, or I had to get out. I called on the best salesperson I knew, and he gave me advice, and I did it. 60 days later, I closed 8 loans, the most I had ever done, and made over $14,000 in that month, which back in 1994 was a big deal. I was so proud of myself. I faxed my paycheck stub to my father with a note across the page that said, "Dad, I did it." We all need to market and sell. It's the greatest business skill you can ever possess. Yet 98% of the world ranks about a 2 out of 10 on these skills. Sorry if that's offensive. Here's a list of who needs to sell: a salesperson, a preacher, a teacher, a lawyer, a mom, a dad, a music teacher, a politician, kids at a lemonade stand, and someone who wants a date. Bottom line, your life will be a direct correlation of who can sell and influence others. I have made over $400 million selling stuff in my life. And if you apply these teachings of this book to your life, you will dare to sell. This story is framed in the business I am in the mortgage business. However, you can and should read this book and relate it to whatever industry you're in. 95% of the content will relate to your field. All the stories in the book are a combination of fiction and nonfiction. Everything mentioned are real events that have taken place hundreds of times. The characters are real. The overall story is one that few people have taken, and at the same time, many have. We wrote this book because of countless salespeople have asked me for a great book about sales, and frankly, I could not find one, so I wrote my own. One more section I'm going to cover is a special page for really busy people. I don't like spending my valuable time reading books unless I know exactly what I'm going to get from them. For a quick overview of what this book is about and the lessons it covers, visit my podcast, The Mortgage Podcast with Todd Scrima, on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Click on the Dare to Sell book overview episodes, or use the QR code at the end of this section. It's only 5 minutes long, and it will give you a great sense of what you're in store for. In a nutshell, I hate seeing salespeople struggle. I've coached over 5,000 of you, and frankly, most salespeople are only missing 1 or 2 tweaks that could boost their income from $100,000 to $400,000 a year. This book tells a story of a struggling salesperson named Lauren. Her income is down 60%. She's in a tough market, and she's frustrated. Through a series of events, she learns several key lessons: proper target marketing, the right sales sequence, how to make offers that bring value to your clients, how to consistently create 15 plus meetings per month with top new prospects, how sales math really works, the power of storytelling, how to truly understand the client's needs so that she can deliver exactly what they want, the importance of coaching and mentorship, how to connect the purpose of her work to the purpose of her life. The book is filled with visuals, tips, and thought-provoking questions. By the end of this book, you'll be equipped to join the ranks of the Comma Club, which is people that earn $1 million or more per year. Happy reading, Todd Scrima. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you take this book and you take some time. It's probably an hour and a half total of your time. I do hope that you get the book version. However, I didn't write this book to make money. I wrote it to give back to people and to help teach people properly the art and science of sales and marketing. And I really, really hope that you enjoy it. And if you do, please share it with other people. You can simply forward this audio version to someone, and no matter if they're in sales or they're a stay-at-home mom trying to influence their kids, it may give them some pointers. I hope you really enjoy it. Chapter 1 of the book, Dare to Sell. I effing hate this. It was Sunday morning, and Lauren woke up with a pounding headache. She shuffled into the kitchen where Mark was sitting at the table with his coffee, reading the news on his iPad. "Morning, honey," he said without looking up. "Morning," Lauren muttered without looking up. A text notification buzzed on her phone. "Hi, Lauren, it's Samantha. Mike and I wanted to thank you for our meeting last Thursday night. We decided to go with another company, but want to say thank you, and I'm sorry." Lauren closed the message with a huff. "Jesus," she said. her voice tinged with frustration. Another lost loan. Mark looked up concerned. What happened, honey? Oh, just another lost commission, no big deal. She rolled her eyes and leaned against the counter. I hope you can cover everything on your salary because this isn't working. Come on, babe, Mark said, setting down his iPad. You know that's not possible. You make way more money than me. We've got the house, we've got the kids, 2 cars, a private school. He trailed off. You're just going to have to figure this out. Lauren stared at him, stunned. Figure it out? Are you serious? She trembled with anger. Rates are over 7%, Mark. Business is down 75%. There's no figuring it out. This industry is over. Honey, you've been doing this for 12 years. Trying to sound supportive and not sure if he was succeeding. You must work harder. You're great at what you do. Harder at what, Mark? Lauren said, feeling exasperated. This is the second deal this month I lost. Every one of these loans is $3,500 in commission gone, and it keeps happening. It's not like I'm not working hard. Mark sighed. With all due respect, honey, he said carefully, we both worked from home last week, and I hardly heard you make a call. You never left the house. Now, I'm not in sales, but I'm pretty sure that's not selling. Easy for you to say, Mark. You just go out, build something, and hope it doesn't fall over, Lauren snapped. Your company gets the contracts, and all you have to do is make sure the damn thing stands. How hard is that? Mark stiffened, his tone turning crisp. Hey, I've been doing this for 17 years, and I'm damn good at what I do. We all have our skills. Yours just aren't working right now. Lauren's eyes widened. Aren't working? Are you serious? That's not what I meant, Mark said, holding up his hands defensively. Well, that's what it sounded like. She grabbed her jacket. I'm going for a walk. This is not going to end well. Wait, Mark called after her. What about church with the kids in 40 minutes? And we still need to pick a date for Peru with Rachel and David. Remember that orphanage trip? Lauren spun around and icily expressed, you take them. I'm not feeling very godly today. And I sure as hell don't have time to go to Peru. She slammed the door behind her, and the sound echoing the quiet house. As she stormed down the street, Lauren's thoughts spiraled. What happened to me? She thought, chest tightening. How did I get here? I haven't struggled like this in the mortgage business since my first year. That was 12 years ago. I made over $250,000 a year for the past 8 years, for fuck's sake. Her pace quickened. Half my realtors have left the industry. I can't seem to get any new accounts. And maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe I've been fooling myself this whole time. She shoved her hands in her pockets, the cool morning air biting her skin. I'll be lucky if I clear $100,000 this year. And it's like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Meanwhile, Mark's making $80,000 a year, which is fine, but not when you need $230,000 a year just to break even. Her steps faltered as the weight of it all pressed down on her. She stopped for a moment and stared blankly at the horizon. What am I going to do? After calming down a bit, Lauren noticed the house was eerily quiet when she arrived home. Mark and the kids were gone, and for the first time all morning, she felt the weight of her exhaustion. She sank into the couch and grabbed her phone, opening Instagram for some mindless scrolling. The second post stopped her cold. It was from that little shit Chris, one of her competitors. He was grinning in front of a house. His caption boasted about helping 22 families last month. 22 families, Lauren muttered, her grip tightened on the phone. How is that even possible? Her mind spiraled. He's lying. He has to be lying. I hate him. The memories came rushing back. Cindy at Caldwell Banker, her biggest referral source for years, had ghosted her after doing a single loan with Chris. That snake. I know he's doing something shady, probably paying her under the table. Her chest burned with frustration. I should report him, get his sneaky ass fired. That would teach him. But the thought faded quickly, replaced by a wave of helplessness. She tossed her phone on the coffee table and buried her face in her hands. What am I going to do? A fleeting idea surfaced. She picked up her laptop and opened Indeed, her fingers hesitating over the keyboard. Let me just see what's out there, she thought. Most of the job listings were a blur, nothing catching her attention until one did. Pharmaceutical sales representative, the ad read. She said aloud, tilting her head. I've heard they do pretty well. Her stomach churned with guilt as she clicked the apply button, half hoping the company wouldn't call. But part of her, the desperate part, was hoping they would. She closed her laptop and sighed. Her reflection in the dark screen caught her eye, a reminder of another thing she hated lately. She had gained 12 pounds in the past year, and every pound felt like a reminder of the stress that she couldn't shake. Great, she muttered, grabbing her sneakers and headed for the treadmill. Might as well work off some of this frustration. The machine whirled to life as her feet hit the belt. Her thoughts ran faster than her legs. How did everything get this bad? Monday morning, Lauren and her best friend Molly met at the corner of their street, just as they did every Monday at 6 a.m. They had been best friends for 6 years, and their weekly 3-mile walk had been their sacred ritual, a way to start the week with fresh air and conversation. Molly was a 6th grade teacher and a darn good one. Molly, as always, was the first to break the silence. Good morning, she said brightly, her cup of coffee in her hand. How was your weekend, my love? Lauren sighed, taking a sip of her own coffee. Stressful, she admitted, her voice heavy. I don't want to ruin your week, though. I'm not exactly in the best of moods. Molly gave her a knowing look, her smile soft but insistent. Lauren, stop. You know the deal. Grumpy walks, therapy walks, venting walks. It's all fair game. So spill it. What's going on? Lauren couldn't help but smile at her friend's support as she fell into her usual pace. Thanks, Moll. I just haven't been sleeping well, and honestly, I feel like I'm unraveling. She stared down at the pavement as they walked. This career is eating me alive. I don't even know if I should be in it anymore. Molly stayed quiet, letting Lauren unload. Mark and I are drowning in credit card debt, Lauren continued, her voice tight with frustration. And these damn kids in the business, the ones who've been doing it for 2, maybe 3 years, they're closing 10+ loans a month like nothing. Meanwhile, I'm over here barely closing 2 or 3. She paused, her voice breaking. It's humiliating. Molly reached over and squeezed her arm. That sounds awful, Lauren. No wonder you're not sleeping. Lauren took a deep breath. The morning air did little to cool the fire in her chest. I'm just so frustrated, Molly. Sometimes I feel like screaming. But what's the point? It's not like anyone's going to listen. Molly gave her a sideways glance. I'm listening, she said, and I'm not going anywhere. We'll figure this out, Lauren. You're not alone. Lauren blinked back the tears, grateful for her friend's steady presence. Thanks, she whispered. Always, Molly said with a grin. Now keep walking. We've got 3 miles to figure this out. I know you've been anxious the last couple of years, Molly said. It sounds like it's really bubbling into the surface now. What's your company saying about all this? Lauren let out a bitter laugh. Our big motivational slogan is survive until 25. Really inspiring, right? Basically, it's corporate speak for limp along and rack up credit card debt. That's the best we've got. Molly frowned. That's rough. What's changed for you? Lauren paused. Her footsteps slowed. I don't know. I'm just so tired, she said, her voice breaking. It's weird. I loved this career for so many years. And now, no matter what I do, it feels like I'm spinning my wheels. Nothing is working. She sighed heavily. Most days, I'm just overwhelmed. Frustration, guilt, fear, and honestly, I just feel disillusioned. Molly gave her a long, sympathetic look. That sounds heavy, my friend. It is, Lauren admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. They walked in silence for a few blocks, and only sounds being their footsteps on the pavement and the occasional rustle of some leaves. What exactly is it that makes you feel this way? Molly asked. Lauren sighed. My income is down, and so is my confidence, and it feels like there's no end in sight. Molly nodded thoughtfully. How can I help? I don't know if you can, Lauren admitted. The real estate market is just brutal. Hasn't been this bad since the 1980s, back when rates were above 14% for years. Molly paused and asked, can I tell you a story? Lauren glanced at her curiously, piqued. Sure. Molly smiled. Over the years, I've taught hundreds of kids. When I first started, I naively thought they were all going to be saints and take over the world. But after a few years, I learned some amazing lessons. Okay, go on, Lauren said, intrigued. Molly continued, I love all my students, but there are always a few you grow closer to. During my 4th year of teaching, I had 2 kids who stood out, Sam and Sarah. They couldn't have been more different. Sam came from a broken home. His mom drank, couldn't keep a job, and he never knew his dad. One morning, she came to school looking absolutely defeated. When I asked him what was wrong, he said he hadn't seen his mom in 2 days. He'd been surviving on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and couldn't sleep because he was so worried. Lauren's eyes widened. What did you do? Molly sighed. Well, after school, I went to their house. His mom was home, but she looked terrible, clearly recovering from a binge. I set them down and calmly told her that if she didn't get her act together, I'd have to report her, and Sam might be taken away. It was one of the hardest conversations I ever had. Lauren nodded. Well, what about Sarah? Sarah was the polar opposite. Her dad was a doctor, her mom was a nurse. She lit up every room she walked into, so charming, full of life. I adored her. Molly took a deep breath. Here's the thing. I unknowingly judged them both back then. I thought I knew where their lives were headed. But life has a funny way of surprising you. Lauren tilted her head. What do you mean? Molly smiled wistfully. Sam went on to finish law school in 2.5 years. Passed the bar in 3, is now an AI attorney in Chicago. He's married, has kids, and makes 5 times my salary. Wow, Lauren said, impressed. And Sarah? Molly's expression softened. I saw her a few months ago. She's had a rough time. After high school, she dropped out of college and had drifted between part-time jobs. She got married young, but it didn't last. She's been divorced for a few years now. On top of that, she's been struggling with depression and anxiety. Her parents told me she recently started therapy after a health scare, and she's living at home trying to figure things out. She used to be so vibrant. Now, when I see her, it's like the lights have gone out. She seems exhausted, like life's just worn her down. Lauren frowned. I don't get it. It doesn't add up. No, it doesn't, Molly agreed. And that's exactly my point. Lauren shook her head. I still don't get it. Molly looked her friend in the eye. Life isn't predictable, Lauren. People you think are destined for failure can thrive, and those who seem to have it all can fall apart. It's not always about where you start. It's about how you adapt when things get tough. Sam seemed to have all the reasons in the world not to succeed, yet he is doing amazing things in his life. What's the difference? I don't know. You tell me, Lauren said. Molly took a deep breath. There is no difference, Lauren. We all have the same abilities and chances, more or less. I know life isn't simple, but in some ways it is. Why does one person chase their dreams while others, with even more opportunity, don't? It comes down to choices. Lauren raised her eyebrows skeptical. Look, I can't tell you what to do, how to feel, or how to navigate a tough market, Molly continued. But somebody out there is figuring it out, thriving in the same chaos you're battling. I'd make it my mission to find out whose that someone is and learn everything I could from them. Lauren let out a small sigh but stayed quiet. Lauren, you're incredibly smart, Molly said, her tone softening. And I'm not saying what you're going through isn't rough or unexpected. I am sure it is. But you have a choice. You can decide to be like Sam, or you can decide to be like Sarah. Both paths will be hard, but one of them will get you to where you want to go. You just have to choose which one. Lauren shook her head. I appreciate your story, Molly, but it's not that easy. Molly gave her a steady look. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was a choice. Lauren's voice froze, frustration spilling out. I just want things to be like they used to be. Enjoying my job, making great money. Now, everyone's angry. Every deal's a fight. People shop rates like I'm a commodity, and it feels like the whole industry is falling apart. Molly paused for a moment, letting Lauren's words settle. My grandfather used to say, your passions are things you're willing to sacrifice for. Listening to you now, it sounds like you lost your passion when things got hard. Lauren blinked, caught off guard. Ouch, she said. Do I owe you for this session, Doc? Molly grinned, nudging her playfully. I'll bill you later. They both laughed, and the tension breaking just a little as they continued their walk. As Lauren was taking a shower after she got home, she thought about what Molly said. She was deeply agitated because deep in her heart, she knew Molly was right. Tuesday morning, Lauren walked into the office around 9 a.m. feeling slightly better about dropping off the kids at school. She had just come from a decent sales meeting, which was rare these days. Her branch manager had gone easy on her, glossing over the fact that she hadn't met her 3-loan-a-month minimum. It was a disappointment. Lauren knew that, and it made her feel bad. She used to be in the company's top 10, and now she's skirting minimums, gaining weight, and considering anti-anxiety meds just to get some sleep and stop snapping at her kids. But at least she had something to look forward to today. The Realtor Mastermind meeting is always a ton of fun, she thought, trying to focus on the bright side. She had an hour before she needed to leave, so she sat at her desk and stared at her phone. Her list of target realtors stared back at her. No more procrastinating, she told herself, picking up the first name on the list. Paige was a long-time contact, and starting with her felt easy. Hi, Paige, it's Lauren. How you doing? Hi, Lauren, I'm good. How was your weekend? Paige's cheerful voice came through on the line. Lauren chuckled. Oh, you know, Mark and I had a little meltdown, but we'll survive. How about you? Well, Paige said with a dramatic sigh, you could have been on my date Saturday night. Talk about depressing. Lauren perked up. intrigued. Oh no, I remember you were excited about this one. What happened? It's more like what didn't happen, Paige groaned. We met at Esquire's for dinner, and he spent 77, yes, 77 minutes talking about himself, nonstop. Didn't ask a single question about me. I mean, aren't I the person he's supposed to getting to know? Lauren laughed. Wow, that's impressive in the worst way. What did you do? Well, he had the nerve to ask me if I wanted to see him again, Paige said, her annoyance obvious. I almost smacked him, but I politely said no and got out of there. Lauren snorted. Was he at least hot? Paige hesitated, letting out a sigh. That's the hard part. He was gorgeous, probably the best looking guy I've ever been out with. But by the end of the night, he just wasn't attractive anymore. That's brutal, Lauren said. I'm sorry. You wasted a Saturday on that. Did you at least meet any new buyers over the weekend? Maybe, Paige said. I met a nice couple at an open house on Sunday. They're supposed to call me today, so fingers crossed. Well, good luck. Let me know how it goes, Lauren said. Happy hunting out there. As she hung up, Lauren leaned back in her chair, shaking her head. I'm so glad to have Mark, she thought. The single life sounds horrible. Lauren called 3 more realtors and then stared at 10 names she didn't know. What do I even say, she thought, setting her phone down in frustration. How am I this far in my career and I'm still struggling with this? The thought of even calling someone felt pointless. No one has business, and if they did, they'd shop me for a better rate anyway. At 11 a.m., she finally arrived at the Realtor Mastermind meeting, only to freeze when she saw Chris, the competitor who closed 22 loans last month. At the front of the room, she made a beeline for Max. What is Chris doing here? She whispered sharply. Max smiled. Well, we bring in a guest of speakers, Lauren. His assistant pitched me last week and it sounded valuable, so I invited him. Grumbling, she sank in her seat. Great. Just what I need. A front row seat to his gloating. Max kicked off the meeting with his usual energy. Good morning, everyone. Today we have a special guest, Chris Clark from Summit Funding. If you're not following him on social media, you're missing out. He's everywhere. Chris, take it away. Chris grinned as the applause filled the room. Good morning, everyone. Let me ask you, how many of you would like 10 clients who buy 3 homes a year? Hands shot up. Lauren kept hers down, arms crossed. Well, my team and I created a program to make this happen. Did you know that 21% of all home sales are investors? Right here in this town, there's 421 investors who own 910 properties. Most of us don't even know they exist, let alone how to reach them. The room buzzed, but Lauren remained skeptical. What if I told you I could give you a detailed information on 100 of these investors, their names, their emails, their phone numbers, and their buying patterns? Would that be valuable to you? The crowd answered a resounding yes. Chris smiled. This isn't just a list, it's a strategy. 10 of my 22 closings last month came from this program. And if I can do it, so can you. Lauren shifted uncomfortably. I hate him, she thought, but maybe he's onto something. Quick testimonial, Chris began, smiling confidently. I'm working on 4 loans from this list right now. One came from making 12 calls 3 weeks ago. I connected with Beatrice, a young woman who buys properties to start residential care homes. After one meeting, she found 4 properties, and I referred her to Kathy at Better Homes, who's handling all 3 of the sales. The room murmured in interest of Chris continued. She's using our exclusive Summit Funding investor loan. It's almost zero documentation, 25% down, and closes in 20 days or less. To my knowledge, we're the only one in the market of mortgage banks that are offering this program. He paused, letting his pitch sink in. I can offer this program to 3 realtors in town. We do most of the work. All you have to do is fill out the survey in front of you. My assistant will call you and schedule us a meeting. Lauren sat back, stunned. That sneaky snake. He's just using DSCR loans. I can do those. Thank you, Chris, Max said, stepping in. Looks like everyone is interested. Do you have time for a few questions? Chris checked his watch. Sure, but I have to leave in 5 minutes. Who's first? A woman in the front row raised her hand. Chris, great job. How do you contact all these investors? We use Summit Funding, a process called the Octopus strategy, Chris explained. It's a mix of social media, emails, texts, calls, and events, and a proprietary CRM that automates 70% of the process. The system does the heavy lifting so that we can focus on selling. Any other quick questions before Chris has to go? Max asked. A man in the back raised his hand. Chris, is your company hiring realtors? I'm I'm kind of joking, but kind of serious. Most of us don't have time for CRMs, databases, and hiring assistants. Chris chuckled. Not exactly, but close. We host a 1.5 day event twice a year for realtors who close 3 or more loans with us. There's a small fee, but we bring in top realtors, coaches, plus our CEO, Todd Scrima, and our head coach, Jim Reed. The first time I went, I felt like it was business Disneyland. For the next event, I'll personally invite anyone I'm closing deals with. Thank you, Chris. Max said, can we get you to come back next month? This has been one of our best sessions ever. I'd love to, Chris replied. There's so much more to share. My job is to help you make more money, and I'm happy to help. Thanks for having me. Lauren sat frozen, fuming. All I've got is this boring rate update. Following that is going to make me look like a total amateur. As Max called her up, Lauren grabbed her phone. Sorry, everyone. My daughter's texting me about an issue at school. I've got to run. We'll catch up next time. She hurried out, her face hot with embarrassment. Outside, she saw Chris backing up near his car. He parked right next to her. Gathering her courage, she approached him. Hey, Chris, great job in there. Can I ask you something? Of course, he said. What's up? Did you really close 22 loans last month? She asked. He grinned. I did. It was one of my best months ever. How? Most people are lucky to close 3. Chris shrugged. Short version? Well, when I started, my mentor told me to join Next Level Coaching and Jolt, our marketing platform. They've been game changers. I just followed what they taught. Lauren hesitated. I've done coaching before, but yours definitely seems different. It works, Chris said. My first year I made $160,000. My second year, $280,000. By year 3, I was making $430,000, and I'm on track for almost $1 million this year, 4 years in. If you're curious, I could have someone reach out to you. Really? Lauren asked, surprised. Even though I'm your competitor? Chris smiled. Listen, there's plenty of business for everyone. Even in this tough market, there's over 240,000 home loans closed every month. The opportunities are out there. You just have to find them. My company drilled 2 things into me. A, givers gain, and number 2, more value equals more money. That mindset has been a game changer for me. He paused, pulling out his phone. Give me your number, and I'll have someone reach out to you. I'll text him right now. Lauren hesitated for a moment, but then gave him his number. With a quick nod, Chris walked off, leaving her standing there, a mix of curiosity and determination bubbling under her frustration. That was so different, Lauren thought. I've never seen such a short presentation hit so hard. He didn't even have to say much, but it landed. Could I do that? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of chapter 1. At the end of each chapter, I want to give some bonus material so that maybe some concepts are further explained. I think the first thing that I want people to get from this is we all have felt this way. It's actually, I don't know if you could notice, a little emotional for me. I've been through it. I've seen hundreds and thousands of people go through it, and that's okay. That's normal. We're supposed to experience the feelings of life, and then we're supposed to get through them. And I believe that some of the things that I wanted to illustrate is it's okay to be frustrated, and then our job is to fix it. Whenever we don't feel good, there is a solution. We may not know the solution, but somebody has the solution. And that's really what this chapter is about. She happened to bump into Chris, and Chris is 4 years in doing 20 loans. So she at first hated him, and she's just starting to make the shift towards, well, based on what Molly said, maybe I should find someone that's doing it better, and I should copy them. And so Chris kind of forced the issue and texted his boss and said, hey, can you reach out to Lauren? But really, what she saw Chris do in the meeting was very different. Chris was doing something that I believe is the next evolution of sales. And that is he's helping people with their main need. The main need in that case for realtors in a hard market is to get more deals. And he at least has some great ideas and some success stories about how he's going about doing that. And so when we come across to people and we become attractive, that's the first step of any sales process. We have to attract people to us. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have to market and promote. He did that, but he did it in such a way that was very attractive to the realtors, and he probably got 10 or 12 appointments out of it. And so he also used scarcity, which I wanted you to pick up on. Hey, I can do this for 3 realtors. He didn't say 12, he said 3. And if you read between the lines, he's already doing it with 1. So I want to be one of the remaining 2. So scarcity is a major part to all this. Nobody wants something that anyone can get, that anyone else can get. And that's just basic human emotion. So I never believe in sales and marketing that you need to lie, cheat, or steal, but you do need to be aware of what moves people. And one of the things that I wanted to illustrate here is that emotion moves people, followed by some solution. And so in this case, Lauren is very emotional, and she was just opened up a little bit to a solution. And so as we go through this book, I'll give you these little tips on what I want you to get out of the book, because as you read a story, it's going to provoke emotion, and maybe if you get the book, the actual questions and the visual aids, I think, do a really good job of promoting thought process and curiosity, which is really what we all need to do besides finding someone that can help us so that we don't suffer through our career. I would say this in any part of life. I happened to go to dinner last night with a family member who looks great, and he lost 25 pounds, and he hired a personal trainer and a nutritionist to help him do that. So that's really, when you're in pain, let's seek advice. Instead, what most people do is we cower and we go inward, and we do the opposite of what works. And so that's one of the other principles that I wanted to get from this chapter. So that was kind of a heavy chapter. Now let's get into some more exciting stuff and move on to chapter 2. Thank you.